Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Thanks for tuning in to this amazing 400th episode of 91 Reasons. We've been going for 5 years, 400 episodes. It is truly hard to believe. I am humbled by everybody who came out to celebrate with us the other night at the restaurant. Thank you so much for your time, your unbelievable gifts, and most importantly, your friendship. It means the world to me and to everyone in here at 91 Reasons, the whole family. We did record an episode at the restaurant, so that's what you're going to listen to today. If you don't hear yourself on it and you did a segment, it means that a couple of the audio files were corrupted. So my amazing sound man, Zach, is trying to work on that, doing his best to try to recover them. So if we can get those, we'll put them on a future episode. If they don't show up, we just had a great conversation, and everybody thanks you for sitting down and giving us your time. We're truly in this together, and we couldn't do it without you. Amazing turnout from Michael Bondi, Hendel, the Wes, everybody. Neil and his wife were there. I'm going to miss somebody, and I apologize. Felipe was there. Dave and... oh my gosh, so many people. Colleen and Rustlin were there. Just a huge turnout, a really amazing collection of good people, good conversation, and good friendship. So again, thank you to everyone, and please enjoy this amazing 400th episode of 91 Reasons.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jim. Happy birthday to you. We'll give something wistful out of that, Zach.
Welcome to 91 Reasons, a pop culture fueled rocket into the far reaches of nerd culture. Featuring your hosts, Jeff, Rachel, Luna, Austin, and Josie. It's Tucker time.
Hey, okay, we're back with another guest on the 400th 5-year anniversary episode of 91 Reasons. We have on the show, you've never been on the show, right?
No.
This is Rachel's sister, Nancy.
Yay!
How are you, Nancy?
Great. How are you,
What
Jeff?
do you think of this?
I think it's pretty wild.
Now, here's the thing. On the show, I have talked a lot about my family and my growing up and my history. We're going to start moving into Rachel's, and we're going to talk about your mom a lot because she's such a character,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So where did you grow up?
Kansas.
What are you doing in California?
I took a geographic and came out here and stayed.
You stayed, and you continue to stay.
And I don't want to go home.
You don't want to go back to Kansas?
No.
So what was Rachel like growing up? Give us the dirt.
Well, Rachel was very spoiled. But
Now-
she was very cute.
We should say Rachel's the youngest of how many?
10.
10 children. And your mother hated men,
Yes.
but had 10 kids.
Yeah.
That's astounding.
That's crazy.
That's astounding.
Well, that's a nice way to put it.
But she had 9 kids with one guy,
And one with another.
and then left with and went with another guy, and then had Rachel. But she had her late. So
Yeah.
Rachel's called like a change of life baby. Yeah, that's I've known people like that. It's an unusual because my friend Toby, his mother was a little older. It's always weird, like, oh, your mom's different than our mom,
I know. I was in high school when Rachel was born.
and you're the next youngest to her.
No,
No, you're not.
from the highest down, I'm the fourth.
You're what? The fourth. Okay, see, I don't know the order. Your family's a mystery to me because they're so spread out. Like, I know them all, but they're all spread out across Florida and Kansas. And
I have some good stories, Jeff.
well, give us a good one.
Oh, okay, so what happened is a lot of them followed my mother out here, and then they all slowly went back. But my mother couldn't run away far enough. I mean, from Kansas to California, really?
Yeah, she was a character, man. When I met your mom, when I first started dating Rachel, she was working at Kmart in Bellflower, and she was always at war with the manager of the store, Mr. Hoyer.
Yes.
And I never even met the guy, but I know him like I know Charlie Brown's teacher, right? Just this domineering force that lords over. She'd go, that Mr. Hoyer, he put me in the garden shop because he don't like me. I go, well, what do you mean he put you in the garden shop? He put me in the garden shop because it's cold out there. And the first time I think I really met your mom, she was working a check stand lane at Kmart, and she's just this force of nature, this really small woman who's bigger than anything you can imagine, right? Loud, abrasive, funny, mean, everything, right? She didn't like me at all. It took a long time for her to come around to me.
Oh, yeah. Well, she wouldn't have liked anybody with Rachel.
Yeah, no, nobody was good enough. And she used to say a certain word. She'd say the F word, but she would do F-E-C-K-I-N.
Yeah.
Feckin'.
Yeah.
That feckin' Mr. Hoyer
Yeah.
put me out in the garden shop. And she'd always get angry and go outside and smoke. I have pictures of her outside of our house on the porch, smoking on the house on Beach Boulevard, right? Smoking a smoke. And then her doctor said, you have to quit. And she quit immediately. She quit cold turkey and never smoked again. That's a hard thing to do.
I couldn't do it.
But she was a character, man. We were talking with the kids the other day about how she became like Papa. They called her Papa, which is bizarre, right?
Are you talking about my mom?
Yeah, we're talking about
yes.
your feckin'
I
mom.
heard, I said, oh, my sister's over at the table right now. I better go over and say hi.
Yeah.
But you know, my mother came from a large family. 17 in her family.
17 what?
Kids.
Her parents had 17 children? I've never known that.
You didn't know that? Yeah.
Folks, this is what people used to do
No.
before Netflix. They used to just have sex every minute of the day. Can you imagine?
Well, growing up, I thought my mother was fat. She wasn't fat. She was always pregnant.
She was always pregnant, right? Like one of those women who's just perpetually with child.
Yes.
That's fascinating to me.
Well, you know what? She'd always have like 3 kids in a diaper. Then they were cloth diapers, so she would hang them out on the line, and it would freeze in Kansas, so they would all be going south. They would all be hanging south.
Oh, you're joking. Yeah, see, people don't understand. Cloth diapers lasted a long time before they were replaced by Huggies and Pampers. I was in cloth diapers. You know, and I'm not ancient. I'm old, but I'm not ancient. But that's just what you did. They had, well, in Kansas they didn't, but out here they had a diaper service. Like
Yeah, they didn't have that in
you put
Kansas.
the diapers in a pail and leave it on the porch, and the diaper guy would come by. He'd take the diapers and leave you a fresh pail. I mean, can you believe that, Zach? Like, you've heard of the
Yeah.
milkman and the ice cream man,
Yeah,
but there was actually a
diaper
the
man.
tidy diaper man
Yes.
would come to your house and swap. Can you imagine that job of opening that container back at the old factory? You'd want to kill yourself.
Yes. Well, it's like Rachel had this gorgeous room, every kind of toy you could imagine in the room. Did she sleep in that room?
No, she had a bedroom
She had
and a toy room. I've heard
yeah,
this.
And she didn't sleep in that room.
And she had a horse.
Yeah, she's had 2.
Yeah, see, people don't know a lot about Rachel because I'm the only one that talks on the show, really. Rachel talks a lot about shopping and the mall and Disneyland and the things she likes, pumpkin purses, but we have never gotten into the childhood stuff. That's the next layers we have to find.
Oh, yeah. She's got some good stories, though.
Well, because her kids won't believe this crap.
I know. Do you know that when I was a teenager, so I would go pick her up from preschool, and she didn't have anything for show and tell, so she told the class I was gay.
That you were what?
Gay.
She did that. For show and tell. What year is this?
1970 something.
Oh, that's
And
fantastic.
They called my mother up and said, she's saying these terrible things about her sister.
Look how progressive she was.
I know.
The kids are like, I got new shoes and I got a new lunchbox. And Rachel comes up and goes, oh, I want to tell everybody my sister's gay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, yeah. At school when I was like 4 years old. It was like kindergarten.
Yeah. It's
I
19
thought that was cool.
So that's
I thought it
1975.
was so cool, I decided to kind of almost join it. I blame you.
We lived in Huntington Beach. I would be mowing the yard, and I would turn around, and she had all her little friends lined up on the sidewalk, and she says, that's my sister, but most of the time, that's my brother.
Oh, that's fascinating.
I have a funny story. So we lived, we had a second house out in the desert, like a cabin, and there was a big storm, like the kind where the wind blows everything away. Like my pool was blowing away, and my sister had a girlfriend over at the time. She goes running out to catch my pool and save the day. Her sundress goes up over her head, and she had no underwear on. I learned a lot as a child from my sister.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I don't know what girlfriend that was.
Rana.
Oh, but I was too young. I just remember that moment. I'm just like, remember the girlfriend with the pool and the wind and the... No,
But it's not a shock if the dress goes up and it's the same thing you're packing.
no, it's not a shock.
didn't
but
wear
when you're a
any
kid,
underwear.
you weren't expecting that.
Okay, because
never-
I told on the show, Carl Harmon and I used to have lightsaber fights. Like,
Okay, so anyways, I just wanted to come say hi again.
this is what kids do, right? I'm not saying out of turn.
But she never wore any underwear. The girl with the dress on never wore any underwear.
All right. Well, Nancy, those are fantastic. We're going to have you on a full show.
Okay.
So thank you.
Thanks
Thanks for coming.
And happy birthday,
Oh,
Jeff.
thank you. Michelle, welcome to 91 Reasons.
Pleasure.
Now, we know each other. You used to work at Knott's Berry Farm.
I did.
And I was one of those guys, you would give me money to buy stuff at Comic-Con.
Yes.
What, you're into what?
Disney, Peanuts, Breyer model horses, which isn't found at Comic-Con, but it's still really cool.
Yeah. But the main thing at Comic-Con was the Charles Schultz Museum always has a booth there.
They do.
And it's funny to have someone who works at Knott's go, you got to get me this Snoopy item, because they're different than what we sell at Knott's.
Oh, absolutely. And some of it's better quality.
So growing up, what was your favorite movie?
The original Star Wars was one of my...
Never seen it.
Oh, yeah. Muppet movie, the Muppet movie.
Oh, I love the Muppet movie.
Yes.
When did you first see the Muppet movie?
When I was 4 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was...
So like right out the gate.
Yeah.
Did you see it in the theater?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
my
that's
my
awesome.
dad took me when I was a
See,
kid.
I always tell people the same thing. My mother was very focused for me that I was a Star Wars kid. And every time, if I tried to veer out of that lane, she would go, no, no, no. And I've always been a huge Muppets fan, but it was mostly the TV show.
Yeah, in fact, my parents would have to record episodes because it wasn't always on, and I would cry incessantly if it was not on. I would get so upset.
I was really into Muppet Babies, the
Me too.
cartoon.
Me too.
Like, I watched, because they had Star Wars on it, and Indiana Jones, and Wizard of Oz, and I just love the idea that these characters I liked the characters, but they also liked the same things I liked.
Absolutely, they were really deep into pop culture before it became a thing.
Before a thing, right? And I remember in the late 80s, long after the Muppet Show had ended, Jim Henson put out these series of videotapes that was Kermit and Fozzie like cleaning up an attic. And they would go, hey, look, it's that thing from that show. And then they would bubble up and show you the scene from the Muppet Show. It was like a compilation.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember
They
seeing
were
those.
really cool. And I liked it because the Muppet, like you said, the Muppet Show was on one time. And if you caught it at maybe a second in reruns, that's it. But there was so much, and this is not the celebrity stuff. This is just usually the weird Muppet stuff. Have you ever seen them do Windmills of the Mind?
Yes, I actually have a Muppet Show book that my parents bought around the time when the Muppets was first introduced, and that whole scene is in there illustrated, and it is so bizarre.
Yeah, the great thing about the Muppets was they weren't afraid to just go all the way out there. because Jim Henson's big thing was, if it's not working, throw penguins.
Yeah,
And he
or
just
blow
throws-
something up.
Yeah, or blow something up, right? And if you've never seen Windmills of the Mind, it's this little red-haired guy, and he's sitting there and he goes, I'm very,
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 very
calm
calm.
on the outside, but on the inside, and then they bubble into his brain, and he goes, I'm a da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, it is...
Yeah, I can't hear the original song without thinking of the Muppet version.
Yeah, no, there's only that version
Yeah.
that counts.
Yes.
What's your favorite Muppet? Who's your favorite Muppet character?
Kermit.
Oh, I love Kermit.
And I like there's some oddball puppets that are in the background that I absolutely love. I love this long-nosed Afghan hound dog she's in, like, with the Elton John scenes. But yeah, she's got this great long nose and these great ears and fur, and it's one of my favorite background
Have you ever seen
characters.
the Sylvester Stallone episode of The Muppet Show?
when he wrestles the lion.
Well, I was talking about the clam scene.
I can't remember that too well.
Kermit walks in and goes, how you doing? And Stallone goes, I'm happy as a clam. And then these clams walk by and one goes, I'm miserable. My back hurts. And then he goes, I'm happy as some clams.
Yeah.
Like, that sums up the Muppet Show in
Muppets.
ways I can't imagine.
Yeah. I love this clip that comes on, and it's the Swedish chef's trying to talk to Kermit, and he keeps going, I know. And then when Swedish chef leaves, he goes, I don't know.
All right, Michelle. Well, thanks for coming on
Thank
the show.
you.
We're not being rude. We're just trying to get everybody in here.
Understood.
Please have some crap.
Thank you.
All right. Well, you've been on the show numerous times. My oldest friend in the world, Felipe.
Hey, hi everybody. Happy birthday, Jeff.
Oh, thanks. I'm old. We're all old now. Are you going to the reunion next week?
I sure am.
I am going to the reunion next week.
Fantastic.
I'm going to host it,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to record a podcast at it
Oh,
with any
wow.
Lancer that wants to sit down and talk to me.
Oh, well, I'll sit down and talk to
How
you. By
about
then,
that?
everybody will be tired of me. I'm sitting here now. I'm sitting here next week.
Unbelievable. I've never gone to a reunion. I don't have any concept other than the pictures I've seen on Facebook.
You know what's really funny about the reunions is that we had a 10-year reunion, we had a 20-year reunion, and then we had the all 80s reunion, and now we're having this one. Three out of the 4 have been in Long Beach, just like a mile away from where I live. So it's
Well, they consult you before they plan it. They want to make sure you're going to come.
I'm going to be around.
You're
I can
the guy.
Uber it and drink as much as I can.
You're the
Yeah,
guy.
absolutely. Yeah. No, the 20th I think was in somewhere in Orange County. So
But they don't like. It's just people drinking and dancing and reliving the good old days. It's not like the movies where like everybody goes off and has sex with each other because they didn't do it in high school. It's not like that, right?
it's not like Romeo and Michelle. No.
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 Well, that's a bummer. But here's the other thing. There's no display of stuff, right? Because that's what I want. I have all the yearbooks. I have a Letterman's jacket. I have the Spirit buttons. But I don't think anybody cares.
Well, I think because of social media now, everybody's doing it online. I
Yeah.
mean, you've seen all the
Yeah.
photographs. They're doing that, and then
You heard
and then,
Nectarline just died, right?
Yes, I did. I did.
I had Nectarline 2 or 3 years.
I had him a couple of years. Did you like him?
As much as you can like a teacher. Nectarline was, I might be getting confused. There were two teachers that taught, what, English, social studies? What did they teach?
He taught social studies. There was another gentleman that taught social studies, and
Was Nectarline the football coach as well?
yeah, he had been. He had
He
been
was,
a
right?
coach. Yeah.
He's probably the guy I'm thinking of because we figured out early on that he only looked to see if you did the work, not if you did the work correctly.
Correct. Right. He would just give you a bunch of stuff to fill out, and you know, and
because I would turn in, it would say like, who was the 12th president? And I would go, purple crayon. And he would go, A, full credit.
That's right. That's right. He did.
We just figured it out early.
It was just like copy this from the book, copy what's on your board, turn it in, you get an A.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
exactly it.
Yeah.
Copy,
yeah.
copy, copy.
Copy, turn it in, and you get an A. Which, yeah, it was an easy A, but I didn't learn anything.
But here's the thing. They hired these guys to coach football, and then they made them do this other thing to be legitimate, but all they cared about was football. Nothing else mattered but football, football, football.
And he was the only teacher that he had a pretty large classroom, so he would put like a stereo system in there and a coffee maker and a couch. And so what I remember is that all the other teachers used to go to his classroom to hang out and relax. It was like a teacher's lounge within a classroom.
Oh, that's great.
That's what I remember. He had an actual stereo cabinet hi-fi in the classroom. I remember.
I just remember because you understand I'm very strange. And I would every time I sat in his class, and even now when Julian, was it Julian who posted that he died?
Yeah.
Even now whenever Nectarline's name comes up, I always do the same thing. I always go, keep on pushing my love over the nectar line, nectar line. Like, that's so weird, right? How stupid is that? I had this guy 34 years ago in high school, and I'm still singing the stupid parody, the worst Weird Al parody you've ever heard about him.
Speaking of songs, excuse me, my voice
Songs.
is breaking.
When it's
Songs.
time to change, you've
Then
got
it's time to change. Yeah. One of the episodes you had recently about high school, and you were talking about your crushes, and you mentioned Starship, the group Starship.
Yeah. Sarah.
Sarah.
Yeah.
And I have that 45.
Do you really?
On blue vinyl. I don't know, with the picture sleeve and everything.
Oh my God!
And so of course I always think of you when I hear that song. Well, what was it, 1987 or something like that? That was for me, and I know we've talked about this before, so it's probably old hat, but my sophomore year was my best year in high school. So I remember the music, 1987, all that stuff.
Laser focused.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to find her. I only have to assume she's passed away. Because she doesn't exist on the internet, and that's really hard to do these days.
It's kind of weird.
Because you can look up people that, like you or me, who have done stuff, theatrical productions, even as far back as like the 90s, and they show up in search listings. They really do. If you've ever been reviewed by somebody, or won an award, or showed up at something, it's on the internet. But Sarah doesn't exist on the internet, so...
Unless she changed her name.
And neither does her sister. Her sister Amy I knew her just as well. So it's weird that they're both gone. I would love to interview her, man.
I always like the idea.
Could you imagine interviewing your first crush?
Your first crush, yeah.
How crazy would that be? Oh, she don't know me.
Should I not mention her name?
She don't know who I am.
I know, I heard.
Miss Schooner. Mrs. Schooner.
Schooner?
Yeah.
Schooner. No, the idea that I liked about having that all-inclusive reunion that we had, it was like 4 years ago.
Because everybody can go, right?
Everybody can go. And so, because, you and I knew people outside of our class.
Oh, yeah, no, I told Rachel, it's funny you say that. I said, it's going to be weird at this reunion because most of my friends were either older or younger.
They're older, yeah.
I don't have a lot of right in the pocket friends, so that seems like an oversight to me.
Yeah, so that's what was. I told you, not too many people from our class were there, but all these other people that from class of '86 and
that's who I'd like to see.
I'd
like to see those people.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember Maya Aceto.
Yeah.
She was there, and at first I thought, well, maybe she doesn't remember who I am. She remembered who I was.
Maya Aceto was best friends with Peter Panos.
Yes.
Right? They were a duo.
Yeah. I didn't know Peter all that well.
I have one more story, Zach, before we end this. This is hilarious. No, this is hilarious. I know Maya. I remember Maya because of one reason. First she was friends with Peter, and Peter was friends with Sarah. And Peter always tried to hit on Sarah to make me jealous, even though I knew Peter probably didn't like Sarah that way, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know for certain.
You're right.
But Maya was also a dancer.
Yes.
Okay?
That I do remember.
I learned a term from Maya that I'd never heard before. And this is at age 13, so I wasn't around a lot of girls, and she was older than us. I learned the term Murph. Do you know what a Murph is, or Murph was? You don't know, Zach? A Murph is when your swimsuit rides up your behind. What? So Peter would go, Maya, you've got a Murph. And we'd all look, because Maya was very easy on the eyes. And
She's
sure
a dancer,
enough,
yeah.
she wore these little dancer briefs and a dancer halter top. And sure enough, the back end's completely up, right? And I just find it odd that I associate that with a woman I haven't seen in 30-something years. And when you see swimsuits now, we went to the beach, Rachel and I went to the beach last year, and every young girl, the swimsuits don't cover the back end anymore. They're permanently in a Murph, and nobody knows what I'm talking about because they go, Rachel goes, well, Jeff, that's just the style.
It's called a thong.
I said, I thought that was an accident. Like, you'd see girls, like, put the bottom down because they had a Murph, and it's so archaic. It's like using the word credenza or Davenport. Like, people, like, only old people know what the hell I'm talking about.
That's true. That's true. Credenza. What we thought was cool about Maya, and I don't know if you remember this, is that supposedly she danced on solid gold or something. She was like a student dancer on solid gold.
I would have been kneeling at her altar because I've talked about solid gold on this show. I met the lead dancer of solid gold, Pam Rossi. She was the lead dancer.
Was she the one with the long blonde hair that would?
She's the redhead who was the dance
redhead.
captain.
Oh, okay.
And I just looked at her and I was like, oh my God. And she knows my age, and she knows why I watched that show. And it was
I remember
fun,
hearing it on
and then
the
it was
show.
really awkward.
Yeah.
And she's a really nice lady, and she runs a really nice studio.
That's good. That's
all right,
good.
Felipe, I'll see you at the reunion, man.
All right.
Please
We'll talk
enjoy
next
some
week.
crap.
All right, thank you.
All right. Who are you, sir?
Hey, hello. My name is Mario Macias, and I'm happy to be here.
Mario, what's your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie, Creepshow.
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 The
Yes.
first one.
Yes, the first one.
That's a classic.
Yes, classic, total classic. Because the fact that I remember when I first saw this, the first part of the analogy I saw was the crate, and I was just like, oh,
Fluffy.
dude, this is I mean, it was just so amazing, like the way Tom Savini made these creatures here, and then I saw the last one. Obviously, they creep up on you or something like that.
When I was a teenager, man, Tom Savini was a god to me because I really thought I was going to get a job doing special effects, and Tom Savini was just like, he was the king at the time, the total king.
Yes, yeah, and we just met. Me and Treese met him a couple years back, and he's very humble. Really quiet,
he's real mellow. He's
Yeah.
not at all what you think he's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. It's just some of the like the photos, for the autographs and stuff. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, he did that too. Oh crap, it was crazy.
You get really shocked when you find out as you delve into filmmaking. You're like, oh, that guy I like also did this, and this. I had no idea.
Oh yeah. It was the same thing when me and Iva Treese, which is my girlfriend for Horror Movies and Beyond, we met Mark Brian Wilson. And when we looked into his portfolio, there were a lot of childhood movies that I remembered that he worked on, and I was like really surprised that not only he's known for Slimer, but he's known for a lot of other projects that he's done. Like Team America. Like he did some of the puppetry on that, and Gremlins 2. I mean, just numerous stuff.
I'm a
that we
big
remember.
fan of Gremlins 2, man.
Yeah, so great.
I remember going to see Gremlins 2 in the theater, and it was empty. No one was there. Nobody went. And I watched it, and you go, this movie's fantastic. How come people aren't going? Because it was marketed wrong. The new batch doesn't tell you what the movie's about. It doesn't give any hint that the movie's crazy with all those different variations, all those Rick Baker gremlins.
Yeah. What you call? Was there like a lot of advertisement on that, or no?
Not much.
Yeah, because I didn't even know there was even a second movie.
There was a period of time where after Batman, Warner Brothers just let a lot of movies die on the vine. Gremlins 2, Quick Change. You ever seen Quick Change?
No, I never saw it, but I heard. Yeah.
I went to go see it. I saw everything in the theater. If it was available to see, I went and saw it. Quick Change, Bill Murray helped direct it and helped write it. It's a masterpiece of black comedy. It's so good. Gone. Defending Your Life, gone. All these Warner Brother movies were just thrown out the window because they decided, long before anybody else did, all they cared about was blockbusters. What's the next big movie? What's the next franchise? Because once you do Batman, how do you go back?
Oh, yeah,
right?
Exactly, yeah.
When you make a movie that is in every aspect of pop culture.
Yeah. I remember seeing the Batman in the theater. Even to this day, it's still one of the greatest. And I believe Michael Keaton just had a birthday recently, right?
Yeah, he sure
Yeah,
did.
he did. Wow, he doesn't even look that old either.
No, he looks really good.
Looks good, yeah, looks great.
You ever see Creepshow 2?
Oh yeah, I love it as well. I just wish there was more stories.
Old Chief Woodenhead.
Old Chief Woodenhead. Yep. I mean, this one pretty much creeped me out. Because the fact that there's like there's always a twist at the end. And especially the second one, the raft. And I remember I was just like, oh, dang, like the guy got away. And, not to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen Creepshow 2, you're just like, holy crap.
Thanks for the ride, lady.
Thanks for the ride, lady. That and, oh, gosh, and the Old Chief Woodenhead getting the revenge on, the poor general store owner and his wife.
You
ever see Tales from the Dark Side, the movie?
Yes.
I was trying to explain that to Rachel. She'd never even heard of it. And I'm like, no, it's got Deborah Harry, Christian Slater, Steve Buscemi, and others. Like, that's a great movie.
Oh yeah, it's great. I like the demon one.
Was it
that female character. That was just great.
Oh yeah, I remember Channel 5 on the weekends would show Tales from the Dark Side. I never missed an episode.
Oh gosh, I kind of like when I was young. Even the theme song creeped me out. All you see is just a bunch of woods and just
the woods, and he goes, "Man lives in the sunlit world of what he believes to be reality.
Yeah.
But there is another, a world that is just as real, but not as brightly lit.
Yep.
A dark side."
Yep.
You remember Monsters?
Yep.
Monsters was cheesy, but the promise was every episode had a monster in it. So there was always a rubbery monster. Oh yeah.
And they did a great job on the the make models and it was so good. Yeah. We did Teresa did an interview with John Massari and he did some of the music in Monsters.
Oh really? Oh wow.
Yeah, it was so great. He's a really nice guy. We did an interview like a couple months back, so yeah. And he just recently come out with the Halloween Horror Nights for Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
So they're having one of
they got a big maze.
Yep.
They call them houses.
Houses.
I didn't know that till just recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I keep forgetting how Universal Halloween Horror Nights is different from Not Scary Farm.
They try to be different. They're different animals. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you so
Enjoy
much.
some
Happy
crap.
birthday
Thank
and
you.
happy anniversary
Thank
to
you.
91 Reasons.
5 years, baby.
Right on.
All right. Jeremy,
What's up?
how are you?
Good.
You just got in from Vegas.
Yep.
What are you doing in Vegas? Except sweltering in this heat.
Oh, it's a dry heat though.
You're a dice guy, right? Cards, dice,
No,
slots.
Slots. Lots
Oh,
of
you
slots.
like the slots?
Yeah.
I'm just fishing. I don't have any
I'm
idea.
sorry. You said slots. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Your trajectory with me is a lot like Michael Bondi's, right? It had to do with theme park stuff.
Oh yeah.
Tell me, where did it begin?
West Coast Bass 2013.
Oh my God, 6 years ago.
Yep. I remember you were pushing your book on stage.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a joke at first. I didn't think that was actually real.
Yeah,
and then
no,
I started
was
looking
totally
into it. I was
serious.
like, oh, wait, he does have a book.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I found a Facebook page, and then I started following, and there you go.
And you're a big supporter of the show. Thank you for all your support of 91 Reasons. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah, a lot of fun.
Why do you listen to this horrible thing?
I realized that my childhood was nowhere near what yours was. Sorry about that. That was me. But,
You don't want it. You don't want it.
But you know what? It made me realize that I actually had a really good childhood that I thought was bad.
That's funny. That's really funny. I wouldn't have thought about that. You're like, oh my God, that poor guy. Well, hey, mine wasn't so terrible.
Well, you know what? We usually tend to dwell on the bad things.
Oh yeah, well that's human nature.
And I realized that I had, as a military brat moving around every 2 years, I was the new guy at school every 2 years.
Yeah.
And so I got teased, bullied, all that stuff.
Over and over again.
But I didn't realize, until way later what my mother actually did for me. And that is, gave me the freedom to do, as long as my grades were good, virtually anything I wanted. As long as I was, mindful I learned early on to play by the rules, and I got whatever I
My
wanted.
mom was the same way. She looked at me and she's like, he doesn't drink. He doesn't do drugs. Nobody's having sex with this guy. So what does it matter where he goes and what he does? As long as it's, if it's a little illegal like Universal, who cares, right? Because she always told me, if you get caught, just call. I'll come pick you up. I'm like, that's a mom, right? Because Universal City's 40 miles from Norwalk, and it was 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Now, thankfully, we never got caught, so it didn't come to that. But I never had any fear. I was free to just, how far can I take this,
Yeah, it's like, you know what? When I senior year in high school, I had no curfew. I could do whatever I wanted as long as I showed up at school and got good grades.
Yeah, I was the same way.
And it was like every other night of the week I was out to 2 in the morning driving my car around, not because I was going where, because I had a car and I could drive around.
No. I tried to explain to my kids the other day, in the 80s and the early 90s, a fun thing to do in California was to get in your car and just go places. It didn't matter where you were going, if you had an agenda, you just did it. You can't do that anymore. The traffic is bad 24 hours a day here. So no matter what time of the night, you're stuck on the freeways. So it's not fun anymore at all. But it used to be.
Oh, yeah, that was your social. I mean, your friends are in the car with you. And where nowadays you're online, you're chatting with your friends, you're texting on the phone. In the old days, you were sitting next to them in a car and having conversations about life while driving nowhere.
Listening to the greatest era of music ever.
I always have 80s on my cell phone. Always.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Always.
So what was your favorite movie growing up?
Aliens.
Aliens.
Everything was Aliens. My passwords for everything all the way up until 2000s were either Brandywine, production company. It was names. It was Aliens was the movie that I absolutely loved.
Isn't it interesting that guys like us, and to say we idolized Aliens is not big enough. Like, Aliens was, you dove into it, and there was no merchandise. There was nothing to buy. It was just a singular movie. And in an era where you say you don't like a movie now because it has a woman in it, and they go, oh, you're a misogynist, and you're like, no. I idolized Ripley, and it didn't even factor in that she was a woman. It factored in that she was a badass.
Oh, yeah.
And when she said, get away from her, you bitch, every time we watch it, you're like, ugh, yeah, right?
Oh, yeah. As soon as that door opened up and that walker came out.
Oh, my God. I had a friggin' heart attack. I got to see that walker live at the LA Science Museum. They had a full-scale the power loader and the Queen in a mock battle, and it was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
That's amazing.
Aliens is a masterpiece.
Oh yeah.
If you watch it now, knowing how it was made, plus with all the extra footage that they put back in, if you watch it now, it is astounding to know they only had 6 alien suits. They just kept shooting them over and over again and making them look like they had. Because if you'd asked me as a teenager, I would have said, oh, they made like 100 aliens for that movie.
Well, you know what? And as a kid, I didn't know it was just 2 pods in the opening scene with the pod room.
Yeah.
And mirrors.
And mirrors.
Like, it looked like it was about 10 pods in there.
It's all just camera tricks and the genius of James Cameron, who took Alien, which is a masterpiece in itself, and said, I'm not going to make that movie. Let's make a different movie in the same universe, and it was a revelation. Is there a bigger badass than Vasquez?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Vasquez, you ever been mistaken for a man?
Like, no, have you?
Right?
Oh, yeah. I tell you what, I have a guy I game with online, and he's from Michigan, and he is a splitting, you can put him and Bill Paxton in a room on a mic, and you couldn't tell them apart. And so when I first heard him, he wasn't doing any lines. I was like, dude, you sound like Bill Paxton. And then that's it. He started shouting off lines from Aliens and half the movies he's done.
I don't know if you're keeping score. We just got our asses kicked.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, let Bishop do it.
And I think, growing up, besides Ripley being cool, Bill Paxton's character is my favorite. Watch him in the opening scene or the opening battle when they actually in there. He's not backing down. He's not.
What are you
hiding.
waiting for? Me to fetch your robe and slippers? Would you, sir? I like that. Look into my eye.
Love that movie.
I think it's a masterpiece.
That was the last movie I got from my Betamax.
Oh, really? Horizon had model kits a couple years after. They had the APC unit. They had a company made little aliens about 2 inches high for gaming. I bought all that stuff. There was Golden Apple Comics in Garden Grove that we used to go to, or Hawaiian Gardens, and we bought all that stuff. And how great is it? And then at one of the conventions in early '86, they gave us Aliens lenticular buttons, where if you moved it, the logo moved backwards and forwards. I still have one somewhere.
Nice.
I treasured all that stuff.
Nice. Oh my God. Then we got teased, and remember Terminator 2 came out. We were all excited because suddenly we got a trailer and they're going to come to Earth. And then we got
Alien
lied
3?
to. We got lied to.
Yeah.
I was so excited.
I went opening night. Well, the trailer actually shows Earth.
Yeah.
It's not a joke.
It was. I remember that. It came out. It was a whole year. They haven't started filming it, if I don't think right. And
oh yeah, the trailer was made before they even had a script.
Yeah, and it was. I was like in Terminator 2, so excited. The movie was so badass. Yes, and then a year later, you're like, what the hell is this?
I ended up with a copy of the script for Alien 3. There's one by Eric Red where the ship crash lands on a planet made of wood. And it sort of has the penal colony vibe, but at the end, Ripley gets in a spaceship and escapes the planet, and when she looks back, the whole planet has now become an alien and is coming towards her. And I remember reading it going, I can write this. This is terrible. This guy got paid because, they had 5 or 6 scripts. And even the script they picked for Fincher to direct, they were like, no, do this, do that. And then that movie's a mess. It's gotten better with age.
Yeah, there's some. I tell you what, I like the actors that are in it. Like
Oh, yeah.
Charles Dance. I
Charles
love
Dance.
I love those actors. So
Charles
there were
Dance
some things
and,
I liked about it, but I was waiting for Earth, and I was waiting for
Well, that was
all
the
hell
big
break
bite.
loose.
That's why I hated Rogue One, because the trailer is not the movie, and you sold me this, and you gave me that, and that one, Alien 3, I was crushed.
I was waiting for the end of the Lost World, like I thought it was going to be. It was going to be them running through the streets, killing everybody.
But I went to the movies every week when I was a teenager, and occasionally a movie would go. You'd go, it's not that good. Alien 3 was one of the first I actually got angry about. I'm like, I'm pissed.
Oh, yeah, we
okay,
got lied to.
And again, it's gotten better with age. The years have been, I think, a little kinder to Alien 3. Certainly, David Fincher has proven himself to be a director of all directors.
Oh yeah, he knows what he's doing. And actually,
all right, Jeremy.
All right.
Jeremy, but I'm like,
Thanks for being on
I
the
got the
show.
gong.
Thank you for all your support.
All right.
And please pick a piece of crap.
oh,
All right. The parental advisory has been set to M. The following is for mature audiences only. Please welcome legend on the show, Joey Bryant from D Student and his son Asher.
I don't know if I'm a legend. I'm just the one that uses the most potty language.
That show's legendary, man.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah. Your stories are insane.
Drug, sex, rock and roll. It's like
Sex and drugs and rock and roll.
you know what it is, man? I'm just a Dollar Tree knockoff of Motley Crue. That's all it is.
Oh, you undersell yourself. Folks, you should know he's sitting here in skull makeup.
You can't make this shit up. Yeah, I was telling your wife, I said, I've had a hard life the last couple of days because it's been hot as shit. But then I'm reflecting, like, I was in a pond with a very hot blonde who was half naked, thrusting on me.
Hey, it's a tough gig, but somebody has to take the mantle.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, take it easy, man. I'm telling her this. And I'm like, I'm fragile. Other women have to thrust on me. You're not
It's
the only one.
like the sex scene in Showgirls. You know what I'm talking about? When she's under the waterfall and she's flailing. You're like, that would kill a man.
I don't know.
A man would die.
Mine was more grungier, I think.
Oh, grungier. Okay, that's a good word.
But here's a plug. You can check it out on my Instagram, DStudentJoey.
Plug away. That's what it's for.
So how has your birthday been, by the way?
Oh, this is fantastic. This is bigger than I thought it was going to be. I just, I never think anybody's going to show up to these things. I don't know.
I was telling Rachel when I was watching you do this, I was like, this is what he's good at and this is what he loves.
That's what I was just telling somebody else, yeah.
You and me are...
Tell Michael.
And it's weird. I see how people, they'll come over and because I've been on air several times and I forget that I'm on air sometimes, if that makes sense.
No, that's the ultimate. If you forget you're being recorded, that means you're in the zone.
Just no dead air. That's only, the only secret. That and
but here's the thing. I tell people all the time because they have programs that'll compress your show and take all the dead air out. But I think dead air is good. There's this need to fill it. It's like Uma Thurman.
It has a place. It has a place.
Uma Thurman says in Pulp Fiction that we feel the need to fill up every moment. But sometimes it's okay to just let the conversation breathe a moment. Because in real life, that's what happens. Have you ever been in a room full of people where everybody's talking a mile a minute, and then all of a sudden, everybody stops at the same time, and you look around and you go,
whose turn to talk?
But that's the universe saying, take a break, reset, and then start again. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, for me, it's just, I don't ever shut the fuck up. And I've got a lot of stories because I made a lot of mistakes. I was just thinking of like a really dumb mistake, and I couldn't tell you why I did this. I was in Kansas. I got this little, when you open up the bottle of Sprite, 7-Up, Coke, whatever you open up, and there's that ring that you have on there, right? And for some reason, it was a bright idea. I was like, I'm going to put this on my limp dick. I want to see if I can put my dick through there. And it wasn't a sexual thing. It was like, can I put it through there? And I'm a pretty big guy, but when you're flaccid, it doesn't matter. So I'm manipulated in there, and then my dick is waking up. It's like, yeah, it's a little early, but I'll wake up. And then the common sense kicks in. I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is hard plastic. There's no escape. And this is so embarrassing. I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, get grease, get water, spit on it. I don't care. And so I'm literally tearing it off. And I had like little scratches on it and stuff. And I just remember myself, why did I do that? And this is, as a dad now, I'm thinking to myself, do I tell my 14-year-old son randomly on a Tuesday morning, hey, son, do good in school and don't stick your dick through hard plastics that you get off soda cans or soda bottles? Like, do you pass that wisdom on?
But you're also aware that there's probably 100 doctors who go, oh, yeah, we've looked at that, absolutely. We've had to use the scalpel to cut that off, absolutely. Because remember, even though you think you're some pioneer and
I don't want to have to go through that surgery.
Everything's been done. Everything's been done.
The mistakes have been made. No, I mean, I sit back and I see the guy who sticks his dick in a pool hole that sucks and he gets trapped, and I'm just like,
have you ever read
fucking D students everywhere?
Chuck Palahniuk.
Do they serve beer in hell?
No, that's Tucker Max. Chuck Palahniuk wrote Fight Club.
Yeah, okay.
He has a story. Do you know what I'm talking about, Zach? There's a story called, I don't remember the name of it, but it's about a guy who finds out about the bottom of his pool. It sucks the water out to clean it, and he just likes the way it feels on his butt. So he's at the bottom of the pool.
Is this a true story?
He wouldn't say. The author has read this at readings, and people have passed out because he goes to the bottom of the pool, and it sucks his bowels out of his body. And so he immediately goes to the surface, but he can't reach the surface because he's stuck to the bottom of the pool. So he has to chew his way back to the surface. It is one of the most harrowing pieces of fiction, I'm doing air quotes.
There is someone out there who jerks off to prolapse, and they're just like, I can't wait.
Oh my God.
Is there a sequel to this?
Yeah, and there's a certain line, which I won't spoil it for the listener. There's a certain line of the piece that has actually caused people to just drop at readings because it's so harrowing.
It sounds interesting and disgusting at the same time. I could sit there and I'm not going to tell the story now. If they go on the analogs, I'm sure they have the story on the 91 Reasons. But I told you about the time my son caught me and my wife fucking, and I told him, your mom is dying. Do you remember that story?
Joey, you tell so many stories. How can I pick one? I just remember there was something about you in Vegas and a potted plant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, look at him. Oh yeah.
I've made a lot of dumb mistakes. We went to Vegas, and I'm thinking to myself, do I want to retire this whole Vegas thing altogether? Is Vegas like...
Vegas is going to be your end.
You're not lying.
You know how Edgar Allan Poe died, right? He vanished for 3 days and showed up at a park bench, dead. No one knows what happened in those days. That's going to be you. They're going to show up at a bench at the Stratosphere.
It's going to be irony. Irony's going to be caked on it somehow. I couldn't tell you how, but it's going to be caked. But you know what I find weird? And I think this is the attraction I have to the Tuckers, is I look over and I think, there's another one. There's someone like me. There's someone like her. There's someone like him. You know what I mean? And for a while, I sat there and I was like, I don't know if you ever went through where you're just like, am I the only guy like this? Is there someone like me on Earth? I feel like that Lestat on the Anne Rice Chronicles of Vampires, there must be other vampires out there like me. And then I lo and behold, there's a short guy by the name of Jeff Tucker. He's creative and he's horny. And he's got a plug and a joke somewhere.
There you go.
I relate a lot.
All right. Well, Joey, thank you for your support of the show.
Yes.
The amazing things that you
Thank
do.
you.
Oh, my God.
You got soft, warm hands. Thank you to the fucking Radar O'Reilly over there.
Zach's the man.
Your hands a little hard.
All right. Hey, we're doing another one. It's Asher from D Student. How are you?
Good. How about you?
I've known you years. I've watched you. You were a little guy, and now you're like 8 feet taller than me. That's astounding. Puberty is a crazy thing. How are you involved in D Student?
I actually model for them in a way, I guess. Like, I model with my dad.
You guys do all these crazy monster photos with skull faces and blood and road warrior stuff. Like, it's the coolest thing ever. How can they find you on the internet?
They can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is ash_shots_2018.
So what are you doing now?
I'm modeling and wrestling for my high school.
Oh, you're a wrestler. Oh, I didn't know that. You know, I tried out for wrestling one day at high school. One day, I thought, because in high school, there's this big push to be an athlete. You have to be an athlete. And I can't do anything. I thought, I could be a wrestler. So these guys, they welcomed me into the rehearsal, the practice. You see what I'm coming from? And they proceeded to spend 2 hours flipping me over again and again and again. And I thought, when I left that place, I thought I was going to die. And
That's how I felt.
I didn't go to school the next day, and I never went back. They were too good.
That's how I felt on my first day of boot camp there.
Wrestling's hardcore. Like, it is pure strength against another person.
It's two dudes trying to beat each other, literally.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Two sweaty dudes and onesies trying to cuddle each other.
I don't wear tights. I wear the required wrestling uniform.
Exactly.
Tights. Shut up. Hey, so you just started high school?
Correct.
How's that?
Fun.
Welcome to a whole new world, right?
Yeah.
It can be overwhelming.
Oh, very. I got some new friends at least. Good.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You're doing wrestling? And what else? You in drama or anything?
I'm in theater.
You're in theater?
Yeah.
That's a perfect place for you, man. All right, well, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good
That's
day.
awesome. Who are you, sir?
Hi, I'm Daniel K. Liu.
Daniel K. Liu, I know you.
Yes, I know you. Everyone knows Jeff Tucker, the host of 91 Reasons, and happy birthday.
You put together, were you on the guys that put together the Twin Pines thing, or you're just involved in it?
No, okay, so for many years, many Back to the Future fans, first of all, for anyone who doesn't remember, near the very beginning of Back to the Future 1, Marty gets a phone call from Doc Brown who says, Marty, meet me at 1:15 a.m., Twin Pines Mall. So, as dedicated crazy Back to the Future fans would do every single year at exactly 1:15 a.m., October 26th, Back to the Future fans casually meet up at Twin Pines Mall, which in real life is Puente Hills Mall in the City of Industry in California. And so after a few years, fans would bump into each other. We see each other once a year. Hey, I see you again. I recognize you again. And then so since then, myself and a couple other friends were we're officially the unofficial organizers of the annual 1:15 a.m. Twin Pines Mall meetup.
Yes, and last year it happened to be a haunt night, so I just said, I'm not going to go home. I'm going to go to the mall, and I did.
Well, I'm glad you came last year, Jeff, and good to see you there. I was surprised because, of course, October 26th is, several days before Halloween. It's the busiest season within a week of Halloween, in the midst of the hectic haunt and Halloween season. I was like, oh, wow, Jeff can finally make it, because October 26th is always going to be during Haunt Scary Farm nights.
My schedule's loosened up a little bit, so I'm really happy about that. But, that was fun to be at a place like where everybody likes the same thing. It was kind of like being at a mini convention, but even more than that, because it was super focused. Remember that guy that tried to run everybody over? The guy drove by really fast, and I was like, he was mad at us. Like, he didn't understand. He was just angry. Like, what's to get angry about? People like a movie.
Well, because every year there's usually a few fans who own DeLoreans will come by, and this is always awesome. And you never know who's going to show up. Once a few people, a lot of people, but it's actually grown exponentially year after year as the word of mouth gets around.
See, I didn't know that in 1985 they actually did this. They actually went to Twin Pines Mall on October 26th and had a vigil. It was in the other Marty McFly. Who wrote that? It's one of the old Imagineers. He passed away, poor guy. But he was the first guy to organize that. And when he showed up at the mall, he didn't expect anybody to be there. And suddenly, there's all these people who are there having this moment. To me, that's the magic of the movies. That's what makes it great.
Exactly. So through the last several years, there's been other Back to the Future fans who we just see each other once a year, and then now you keep in touch. You switch to social media and Facebook and Twitter and things like that. So now we become friends. We hang out and do other stuff outside of Back to the Future.
And you took the big picture of everybody?
Yeah, so every year we take this awesome group picture exactly 1:15 a.m. So in the movie, when Marty skateboards right in, he overlooks the mall with the Twin Pines Mall sign that actually flashes digitally 1:15 a.m. And we take that exact spot.
Yeah, makes me want to watch the movie again right now.
We take that group picture over there every year, and comparing the pictures every year, it just grows and grows and grows. And then we have one fan named Chris, who's awesome, Back to the Future fan, awesome Marty impersonator as well. He actually skateboards down and recreates that scene exactly.
And somebody even brought a drone.
You never know, like this year. Right,
so this year it's happening again.
What happens every year, unofficially happens every year no matter what, but then when every 5 to 10 years, when there are so-called official Back to the Future events, then it gets busier. They do malls, they do screenings.
Yeah, this year is the 30th anniversary of Part 2.
So there will be more events at the Real Life Punta Hills Mall this year around in October. But for the 1:15 a.m. Twin Pines Mall fans, we meet up October 26th, exactly 1:15 a.m. every single year, no matter what. With or without events, there's always going to be fans there.
So you should
for
be
the
there.
rest of our life.
I'll be there.
And for fans who don't know, a few years, I think 5 years ago, during an anniversary year, they recreated. It's not the actual one, but they recreated the Twin Pines Mall sign, which is awesome. It lights up.
Joe Walser put that together.
Yes, and because it was so awesome,
the great
a sign
Joe Walser.
That they've kept the mall. If you go inside the mall, they're permanently plugged in year round.
Yeah, that's really
you can
cool.
see the signs are hopefully forever inside the mall.
So you want to talk about something else too, right?
I want to bring up something else, which is so besides being a Back to the Future fan, I'm a big fan of theme parks. Side plug of a social media blog called Theme Park Times. Look for Theme Park Times. But everywhere besides that, I've met Jeff because through so many haunt events through the year.
Oh my God, look at that!
And so this is like a mini reunion for Jeff Tucker.
Yeah, look at that.
So years ago, Knott's created Trapped, which was the upcharge maze from Chapter 1, which was amazing and groundbreaking. Before the concept of escape rooms even existed anywhere on the planet, Knott's Scary Farm created its own escape room concept for upcharge maze, as Jeff would tell you, and he knows. He worked on Trapped, especially year 1. And so what I have in front of me, for those who can't see, I have this amazing one-of-a-kind art piece model.
Wait, you got to do this. You got to flip it around. Flip it around and show Sandra that side of the
that Jeff
of the model.
created. So for in 2018, Not Scary Farm created its first ever Into the Fog tribute art exhibit.
And you bought it.
I bought it opening night. I saw that and I thought, this one-of-a-kind recreated model of Trapped Year One that Jeff Tucker created. I saw it. I was like, it's mine. It's going home with me. I instantly bought it for $300-something on the spot.
Awesome, man.
Because Trap was so revolutionary and still is, especially Year One, where no one knew what to expect. We used to know it was upcharge mage. You pay a flat fee for up to 6 of your friends.
Well, the weird thing about Trapped, and I've gone into the history of it on the other on season. Look up the Season Pass podcast because I've talked for hours about it. But the really cool thing about Trapped was that we announced it, but then we didn't announce it because we wouldn't tell anybody what was in there.
And no one knew.
Nobody knew. We just said it was going to be different, one of a kind. You had to sign a waiver. It had a safe word, and the monsters might be able to touch you.
I remember it being in line with other guests who decided not to go because there's a waiver. In the fine print, it said not responsible for death or injury. And people saw that. I remember people in line behind me. They're like, "I'm not signing this," and they left.
Yeah. Well, the thing is we have no idea if this was going to work or not. And I just assumed, because I'm naive, I assumed that we would open it. There might be a few people in line, but we'd have to shut it down, and then we'd power it back up and go, hey, we got somebody. Everybody get to your spots. And on opening night, about 5 hours before it opened, I went over to marketing, and I just said, hey, have we sold any tickets for Trapped? And he looked at me, and he said, dude, you're sold out. I said, how are we sold out? He says, you're sold out for the whole weekend. It's booked. The whole thing's booked. I couldn't believe it. That was for the fans to pay an extra charge, huge leap of faith. It was very humbling, very amazing and gratifying. I was floored. I was floored.
And I loved it because it was the fun not to know what to expect. And most fans seem to actually kept it a semi-secret, not to reveal too much to their friends so they would enjoy it too.
Well, this is 2012. This is the beginning of Twitter, the beginning of Facebook's saturation, right? They'd been around a while, but they weren't really big because I ran both the Knott's Facebook page, the Knott's Scary Farm Facebook page, and the Twitter page. And we didn't get much action. Nobody was on social media. It hadn't exploded. So when we told people, and there weren't a lot of smartphones. There were phones, but not smartphones. So when we told people, keep your phone in your pocket, it wasn't a big deal. I don't think you could do it now. You went to Galaxy's Edge for the cast preview, right?
Yeah.
Where you had to put your phone in a bag?
And they were watching you like a hawk, and if you took your phone out, you were escorted out or potentially fired as a cast member.
I tell people going to Galaxy's Edge and having to put your phone in a bag gave me an experience that's priceless. I went to a theme park where nobody was on their phone. That's unheard of now. I just went to Disneyland yesterday. Everybody's on their phone. Nobody's in the moment. But at that pure day of Galaxy's Edge, people were living in the moment. And that to me, that's what Trapped was.
And in part, even if people were tempted to, we knew there was cameras everywhere, and we were told, and we could see there was cameras in every room.
We're
so
watching
I was like, better
you,
put your phone away.
But it was great, right?
I mean, I loved it. I went through Trapped Year One 3 times, or maybe actually no, I think it was 4 times. Obviously, the 3 other times it was with other friends. After I raved about it, I would just go and actually, without being behind the cameras, but going through the rooms. I knew what to do. I knew how to escape each room, but I didn't. I just let my friends do it. But I actually enjoyed watching them get freaked out.
You're speaking the words I spoke when I told people, because everybody wanted to go through by themselves. Why can't we go through by ourselves for cheaper? I said, it's only fun in a group because you're feeding off of your friends. A lot of people didn't get that until they went through it like that.
So when we're in the first absolutely disgusting restroom and someone had to put their hand in the toilet to pull out dirty underwear, or
the janitor was here earlier from Year One.
Or even try to put your hand through a cage with moving rats, or someone had to
Well, you know where that
eat
comes
bugs
from?
or spoil milk. People were still crazy, and I was like, I'm not telling you what to do.
Even though I was the guy who came up with the initial idea and the guy that kept pushing, a lot of the maze rooms were designed by other people. But the wisdom on it was Temple of Doom. Remember when they have to put their hand in the bugs and pull the lever to get out? That's what I wanted. I wanted people to live that kind of cliffhanger moment, and Trapped gave people that opportunity.
I mean, each room had a different fear or phobia for people's different tastes. But I brought up this maze or the miniature because and the reason I had to get it was such an amazing thing. And because we couldn't take photos or videos, however, cameras out or cell phones out, that when I saw Jeff Tucker's amazing room by room detailed miniature recreated maze, I had to buy that. That's
You're very kind.
It's like it really is like the only visualization that someone could take home of the maze. And I physically had it. So I saw it, I bought it, I said, no one else is getting it from me. But I brought it tonight because funny thing is, even though it was on display throughout the entire haunt season at Scare Farm last year in the Into the Fog art exhibit, I never got a chance to take a picture with Jeff with it, which is why I brought it today.
Oh, of course. That's
so
great.
That's why.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on the show,
No problem,
man.
problem. Thank you.
Okay, I have Jeff and David on the show.
Hello.
Two very old, close, personal friends.
Happy birthday, Jeff.
Why, thank you. You guys ever have it to high school where they came to your, and they would set up in the gym? It was called the 3-Screen Show. Do you remember this? It was a multimedia show designed to keep you, like, positive and off drugs. And the way they did it was, only reason I remember it, is it was 3 screens so that one would show, like the two on the end would show movies, and then one in the middle would show either a static image or something different, you know, because they're all done with projectors. This is 1986, 87. And I remember being so excited because the one that came to our school played Back to the Future clips.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I was like, oh, man.
I don't recall this.
The
I don't recall.
3-Screen show.
It wouldn't have worked
It
in
had
my
a name,
school.
some dippy name, I'm sure.
It would have never worked in my school.
No, where'd you go to school?
Huntington Park.
Huntington Park.
Would never
Which
work
is not
there.
Huntington Beach for those
No,
listening.
no.
Huntington Park is...
I think it's pronounced HP nowadays,
HP.
right?
HP in the house.
It's the HP.
So what's going on, guys? What are you up to?
Oh, I think Jeff's running a marathon tomorrow.
Jeff always runs marathons. How many marathons do you run a month? 4, 6?
I run. It's clarify. I don't run marathons. I run 5Ks or 10Ks. That's not marathons. But I do 2 a month.
Well, those are marathons to us. So
5K to me is a really good-looking TV screen. Come on, man. I see those photos of you running, and I'm like, nope. I don't even own shoes good enough to do what you do. Even if I was physically able, I couldn't do it.
well, we bought you a nice pair for your birthday.
Oh, thank you. Running shoes.
Exactly.
You're ready to go.
Hey, I'm picking you up next week. Okay, we're going to Long Beach.
Remember those Coke cans used to dance by themselves? And Professor Professor Frink took them and put them in tap shoes. They would tap by themselves. Can you do that to running shoes? They just run, and I just go along with it.
Hey, I got the new stroller. I'll just put you in the stroller and I'll just push you
that's
around.
perfect.
There you go.
Now I'm in a stroller. I love it. One of those 3-wheeled ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You are getting up there in age.
Yeah. How many? But see, isn't that the irony part? Is that you are born unable to walk, then in your prime you can walk, and then you're old you can't walk again. You crawl, walk, cane.
And in between, you'll get arthritis in between that period of time.
As a bonus.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
How many of these medals do you have?
I get I run like 25, 26 races a year. So.
And do you wear them all the time?
Like
all
Mr.
the
T?
time, all the time.
I pity the fool, don't run.
I pay the fool, so I can't run.
I got the 10K. I got the 5K.
10K,
I got the special K. I got the Kmart.
The special K is a special race.
Now, you guys I know from college. You're college era guys. You guys were big in college. Jeff was you were in the first play I ever saw at college, the beauty part. That was famous for what reason? Do you know what I'm going to say?
For Balky, wasn't it?
Because Balky
wore no underwear.
Balky wore no underwear in a scene, and I finally learned what it was to be a man with my eyes.
I remember at rehearsal, Kevin telling her to go back to the dressing room to put underwear on because everybody in the audience was moving to one of those special sections.
Well, Balky was like exchange student, wasn't she?
She was French.
If you've ever seen the Jane's Addiction video for Been Caught Stealing, the girl in that video looks exactly like Balky, like to a T.
Yeah.
I always
It might be her.
associate.
I don't know. I'm not. Who
You
knows?
what?
It could be her. Who
It could be
knows?
her. We don't know what she was up to. Now, David, we met a little later.
We met in 91, 92.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you are legendary because you and I did a ballsy move at that competition.
ACTF.
Yeah, do you remember that? They drove us up to I was nominated for some award.
Right.
And we were going to San Francisco to be in a drama
Cal State Hayward.
A competition.
Right.
And Hoggard, was it Hoggard or Huber that came to
Huber.
us? Huber came to us and said, I got this idea. You're supposed to do 2 scenes in your 3 minutes. A serious scene and a comedic scene. And if we had known what we were getting into, when I first saw the first few people, I was like, we have no idea, no concept of winning this.
Right.
We don't have a chance in hell because these people were polished. They had worked probably 6 months on their scenes.
They were being groomed for this.
Yes, and what got them to win was the transition, because it would be a woman with groceries. These are the scenes I remember vividly. She's got groceries, and she's doing one of those pretentious, I went shopping today, and I bought a few things for this, and I can't believe my husband. And then she would turn, and as she would turn, a guy walked on stage and knocked the groceries out of her hand.
Right.
It was like, boom.
It was always about the transition.
And then it was the second scene about the groceries being picked up. And I was like, oh, we didn't do that. The other one was the guy that won. He got up and did a sword fight. Do you remember this? And he got up and he said, I am the bastard son of Richard Nixon.
Right. With big cardboard tubes, right?
Yeah. And I remember looking at Dave going, no, we're just here for a free trip.
We're just here.
But we got high marks because we did something that had never been done before, and that's rare. We did a comedic scene, we stopped, and we did the same exact scene as a drama.
That's right.
Huber made he dared us to do it.
Yeah.
And we did. And
nobody ever did that.
No one had ever done it before.
No one ever did that.
And it was weird, right?
Yeah.
That was cool.
But it was also difficult as an actor because you had to make that same material work in 2 different styles.
Oh yeah, no, it might have been the hardest I've ever worked as an actor.
Yeah.
And you were fantastic.
Well, it was
at
a fun experience because really at that time in our early 20s, right? We're just looking to get out of town for a while, right? We're looking to get out of town for a week, maybe do some drinking and some eating and some have a good time.
The college drove us to San Francisco in a big van.
Yep.
And put us up in a hotel room.
Yep.
I've got pictures of me and Rachel. We had just started dating.
Yep.
And Jerry's there, and this other girl's there, and they're playing strip quarters or something.
Yep.
And I just remember thinking, drama's the greatest,
It's
man.
the greatest thing.
How did I get here?
And the college would give you a $120 stipend for the week.
Yes.
And you had to make that last for you so you could eat for the remainder
Do you remember
of the
what
week.
I tried to buy with it?
I don't recall.
Don't tell me. A hooker.
No, I was dating Rachel, so it's the first
Yeah, that
time in my
wouldn't have
life
worked out
I didn't need a hooker. No, we went to some mall, and the guy had a full-size R2-D2 on display.
Of course he did.
And I went up and I was like, "Excuse me, sir, is that R2-D2 for sale?" What? Yeah, sure, $400, kid. Thank you, sir. I don't have that kind of money, but thank you. And then I thought, well, how am I going to get it home?
Was it a full-size one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It didn't look very good. It wasn't a real one.
Just so you know, they have one right now at Disney.
Yeah, it's only $25,000.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
We don't get our company discount on that one either.
No.
No, we don't.
No discount,
We don't.
huh?
No.
No discount.
But the one thing I remember of that trip, because we were in the Bay Area, is most of us wanted to see if we could drive up to where Lucas was.
Oh, yeah. We were gonna go to
Marin
Skywalker
County.
Ranch.
We wanted to go to Marin County.
Huber didn't.
He wouldn't buy it.
No.
He wouldn't let us do that.
We did the Twisty Road and a bunch of the tourist stuff.
Yeah, we did that.
So-
We did Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
The pictures are great
Yeah.
from that.
We went down to the pier. Yeah.
All on drama.
All on drama.
All on drama, man. How
Yeah.
great is that?
All on drama. We got ousted after the first round, so it was just
It was
like
cake the
all
rest
right.
of the week. No pressure.
No.
Just watch some pretentious shows.
Right.
You guys all drank because I didn't drink.
We
Still
drank.
don't.
We
And
drank. Yeah.
I watch you guys have a good time while I wallowed in misery for losing.
All
Now,
our-
here's the thing. I didn't care about that. It never even occurred to me that we could win. It wasn't in the cards. And 3 or 4 years later, Don Berg used it in an argument against me.
Oh, jeez.
We were arguing about something. He goes, "Oh yeah, and that's why you didn't win the acting competition, did ya?"
He just threw it in your face.
And I went, "What are you? Oh my God, he's talking about that thing from like years ago. Are you nuts, old man? Yeah, you didn't win, did ya?" What? Oh, you'll never follow through, and you're never gonna win. Why? Oh, he had all kinds of things.
Wow.
You know why he was convinced I was never going to make it in show business? Because I wasn't Jewish. He'd go, "You're never going to make it. You're a Methodist." I go, "What does that mean?" "The only people that make it are the Jews." I go, "Well, who?" He'd go, "Steven Spielberg's a Jew. Whoopi Goldberg." I go, "Really? Whoopi Goldberg, huh? It's the Goldberg." I said, "About Donberg." No. I go, "I like Michael J. Fox. He's a Canadian Jew."
Wants to be on it. Wants to be on
All right.
it.
All right.
All right.
We're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys
Hey,
for
thanks
coming.
for having us.
Hey, thank you so
You
much.
guys are the
Jeff.
greatest. I'm
Happy
sorry I
birthday.
talk so much. All right, who are you, sir?
My name is Dave.
What do you do, Dave?
Right now I work for security. I'm a former retired haunt talent.
I love your Facebook posts.
Oh, thank you.
Because through you, everybody can see what it's like to be a security guard and have to deal with the riffraff of what's going on in the middle of the night.
So, funny story. I did haunt at Knott's for about 12 years or so. Let's just round off 12 years. Never got into a fight or anything major.
Yeah.
3 years ago, 17th floor. A drunk guest decides to, hit people.
To be a drunk guest.
Yeah, shove down a 60-year-old woman, Shar, Smiley. But so I get the call that something's going on. I'm like, what now? Someone's drunk. I grab my flashlight, go into the back, and I'm like, all right, who am I going after? What's going on? I see two people from 17th floor struggling with some guy in the middle. And I'm like, that must be the guy. So I go up, try to wrap my arms around him, but holding my flashlight, I couldn't get a lock my hands. He elbows me. I bounce off the wall, and I'm like, all right, it's on. I tackle him. We struggle, and I see his right fist coming around, hits me right below, for all of you listening, right below my nose. Yeah, and I'm thinking, not the nose, right square in the mouth. I let go of the guy, kind of sit there, shake it off, and feel something rattling in my mouth.
Oh, no.
I spit out my two front teeth.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. No, finish your story. It's great.
I sit there. Oh, and the funny thing is our normal uniforms are black shirts. Well, the location wanted us to wear yellow, and my boss is also a former haunt. And I'm like, hey, Will, look, we're finally yellow shirts. We've gone full circle.
That's really funny.
It was funny. So
you're a security guard like overnight, right?
Yeah, we do overnights.
So
I know where this is going.
One of my kids, Luna, works late at night. Starbucks for a while, now at Knott's, late at night, like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. pickups. And I try to explain to people, we have this idea that the world revolves around 6 a.m. until 11 p.m., right? And the world everybody goes to bed or they watch a movie. No. If you go out in the middle of the night in any city, anywhere in America, there's a whole second society that lives.
Yes.
I drive these streets of Buena Park sometimes in the middle of the night. You assume everybody's gone to bed, but I see people on bicycles, skateboards. I saw a coyote run across Beach Boulevard, beach in La Palma. I've seen people carting stuff and moving. There's a whole second society that only comes alive at night. That's fascinating to me.
It is. I enjoy it. I love working the late hours.
You're a night owl.
Yes.
You have to be a night owl to work Scary Farm.
Oh, I miss it.
What'd you do at Scary Farm?
Oh, let's see. I worked there for about, let's say, 12 years. Nice route. After you work a certain number of years, you just say, 10 or 12 years. I started out in Carnival of Carnivorous Clowns from Outer Space in 3D. Which
in the arcade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where Johnny Rockets is now.
Yeah.
I was a poo keeper. I got to be in the room with the 2 ginormous elephant butts.
Yes. And they had air guns under their tails.
And me and my other talent would find the stuffing from stuffed animals, and we may or may not have put them inside the air tubes and shot them out.
Hilarious.
It was. We called it C3 because that name is just...
It's a long name.
Whose idea was that?
I helped on it.
I thought so.
I helped on it, yeah.
Then I also did 2 years in TerraVision.
Oh, TerraVision was a great name. On the lake.
I was in, that was 05, 06. I was in the Star Tracheotomy room.
Star Tracheotomy.
I was Captain Hurt. A lot of people... Okay, this is a funny story involving Jeff. So Scare School in 06. Jeff and Craig were doing it.
Yeah.
They put us in our rooms.
Good guy, Craig Harrell.
Oh, I missed that. I miss him. The Haunt Father.
Absolutely.
So you guys come in and all right, you guys have done this, so go about your business. We'll come back through. So we decide what we're going to do. Craig and Jeff come in and, all right, show us what you got. They're both standing there, arms crossed, just kind of like, all right, what's going to go on? I'm sitting in the captain's chair, which I eventually broke at one point that year. Sorry. And he's like, in my best Shatner, tribbles are all over the ship, or something to do with tribbles, because we had dead tribbles all over the room. One other guy, Strawberry, comes out from the transition hallway. They're everywhere, and he's waving his arms. And the third guy comes out from the back, and it's in his best Scotty. They're even in the crapper. I still remember this. Jeff is like, Craig? And Craig just looks at us and kind of puts his head in his hands and just kind of shook his head. And you guys are like, all right, we're speechless. Next.
It's all good.
So I'm like, we made Craig and Jeff speechless.
Now, the best thing about it was you were wearing the Michael Myers mask,
yes,
which is the Shatner mask, and we came full circle on it.
Yes.
Star Tracheotomy.
Yes, and also helped out on the Halloween nights. I put a black Dickies jacket on and would roam the mazes, Michael Myers.
How did you survive the soundtrack to that maze?
I actually enjoyed it to a point.
Because it was about 30 seconds of...
It was Ministry's Jesus Built My Hot
Over
Rod.
and over and over
Yes.
again.
So every time I hear that song, it's like flashbacks from like 13 years ago.
PTSD.
But I loved it. And then I was in 06, 07, I was in Killer Clown College, which I'm glad they used the C for clown. And then we're like, cake. No. So...
That was under Accelerator.
Yes, it was under Accelerator. I had a blast in that maze. Then the next year, I finally made the jump to Streets.
Nice.
And it was back in the day where it was a matter of, hey, is Craig talking to people for Streets? Yes. Can I talk to him? And if he liked you...
You come here on the day of Scare School wanting to be on my streets. You've never come to me to be on the streets before, and now you come here.
And I had a blast.
The Haunt Father, baby.
Oh, I miss him.
Do you remember the video I made with Craig about the Haunt Father?
Yes, I do.
It was in Charles Bradshaw's office, and they cut to me and they go, "Gotta help me, Haunt Father. I don't know how to be scary. Please help me." And Craig turns around and you hear do 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 do. And he's got the orange slice in his mouth, the orange peel, and he goes, "You could act like a monster." And he starts shaking me. Oh my God, that was so much fun.
So I did a year on Streets. It was great.
Right.
And I took the
Here
next
you
year
are.
off.
I'm gonna
Just
murder your
I needed
name
a break.
because every time I say it, I know that I know it right, and you always go,
All right. As a clown.
No, nothing wrong with that, man.
Well,
So if I say Ivo Tress,
Happy birthday.
Ivo Treese,
There you go.
Ivo Treese.
Yes.
Hey, it only took me 2 tries. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
You are creating your own empire.
I hope.
You are.
Oh.
You're the Oprah of horror. That's amazing.
Well, thank you.
Here's what I dig.
Okay.
I dig that you are passionate about something.
Yes.
You do it, and you don't give a crap if anybody doesn't like it. That's noble. because I'm the same way, and I can recognize it. And I just think that's a great, because people look at me and they go, "Oh, that's that a-hole that likes Back to the Future," and I go, "Yep. What do you want to do?"
Well, Back to the Future is good. It's good.
Yeah, but the last movie came out 29 years ago.
Yeah.
Think of, oh my God, I'm old.
I was a baby.
I'm old. 29 years ago.
Don't worry, a remake will come soon.
We are, don't say that. We are so far from Back to the Future that if we went the same amount of time now as Marty did, we wouldn't even reach 85.
Really?
We'd be in 89.
Oh. Oh.
Right?
Okay.
Solid math.
Yeah.
All right, what's your favorite horror movie?
The Thing.
The original or the John Carpenter?
John Carpenter.
Somebody sent that to me because I had never seen it, or I don't remember seeing it.
My heart.
What's that? Civil War. Yes, they Civil Gore. They sent it to me, and I tell you what, I remember it was one of those movies that was on while I was goofing off.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between watching a movie and watching a movie.
Yeah.
John Carpenter's The Thing is a masterpiece.
It is a masterpiece.
Oh my God! It is better to. It is a better horror movie than almost 90% of the sludge that is made today, and that's including the effects.
Yes.
Rob Bottin.
Yes.
Rob Bottin's effects are staggering. They're so good.
Yeah, they're very, very
Anybody
good.
who's seen the remake knows what I'm talking about.
No, wait, what remake?
The prequel remake of The Thing.
That wasn't a remake.
It was a remake. It was a prequel
2011
disguised as a remake. Because it's supposed to be where the dog gets out at the end, right?
Yeah, so it's supposed to start before the dog gets out.
That's
so
just...
so they know what would really happen. But actually, in that one, if you watched it, it has parts of the original.
Yeah.
And then
The Thing from Another World.
Yeah, and then The Thing. So they actually took parts from both movies and put it in the prequel.
They're just trying to. They're just
because they couldn't get the. They couldn't get the rights
Here's
to do a remake. They wouldn't do it.
When I was in high school, I was friends with a very good-looking football player, and whenever we went to a party, I would feed him jokes. And women would just swoon, right? Because I thought one day I'm going to get one of those that he doesn't want, and they're just going to fall right in my lap, right? That's called glomming. I was glomming onto Terry's football prowess and good looks.
That reminded me of that movie Roxanne.
That's what that movie was doing to The Thing. It was just glomming. It was just like, you know this name, right? You know the name, right? You know the name, right? So we'll just fool people like we're making. I can't stand that. When I tell people, I have to get closer to her because I want to hear. When I tell people there was a remake of Total Recall, they don't believe me.
Yes, I
go,
saw half of it. That's as far as I could get.
That movie cost $200 million.
Really?
That's a $200 million movie that nobody remembers.
It doesn't even look like it would cost that much.
RoboCop remake? No one remembers it even came out.
I remember.
Nightmare on Elm Street?
People remember that
You
one.
pick 5 people, not movie nuts like you and me.
Okay.
You pick 5 people and ask them, was there a Nightmare remake? And they'll go, well, of course not. The original is great. Why would they? There was. Jackie Earle Haley was Freddy Krueger. They made that movie. They got to stop with these remakes.
You know what? It wasn't that bad. The remake of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Donuts, people want to eat.
Yeah. I'm getting the evil eye. Speaking of horror movies, that's my wife.
I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, okay. Nightmare on Elm Street wasn't a bad movie. They just made him too much, I don't know, pedophile-ish.
Ew, yeah. Just tell us. You don't have to show us anything. I don't need to see any of that. No.
Yeah, it was a little too much.
I I I made my own Freddy Krueger glove when I was in high school. I took aluminum cans, cut them up, turned them inside out, and made the glove.
Really?
At the mall, they were doing, if you sign up for a credit card, you got a free set of steak knives.
Oh.
So I made my mother do that. I got the steak knives. I burnt the wooden handles off, and I soldered them to the glove.
Wow.
I took that to school. Think about that. I took a red sweater. I painted green stripes on it with spray paint. I had the hat, the glove, and I was Freddy Krueger for the day.
Even with real knives
Real
on your,
knives.
and they didn't say anything.
It's 1986.
Well,
Nobody cares.
They sure don't.
Certainly.
Now, it wouldn't fly now though.
Oh, are you joking? I think I cut a sandwich with it at lunchtime. I was like, chop, 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 chop. I love going to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I love horror movies, man. I used to go to Alondra 6 and see every single movie that came out. It didn't matter how dumb it was or how bad it was. It was about going to the movies.
Well, I saw a lot of them at the drive-in.
Hell yeah.
That was fun and scary. That was scary.
What's the scariest movie you ever seen at the drive-in?
Evil Dead.
The first one?
Second one.
Oh, Evil Dead 2. It's even better.
Yeah, I saw that one at the drive-in.
Dead by Dawn.
I remember that. That scared me as a kid.
Oh, that movie's terrifying, man.
Came out 85, right?
When that thing pokes up, Evil Dead 2 is 87, I think.
86?
Here's why I say 87. Video release. I'm going by the video wall in my head. I know where all the movies were.
I can't remember.
It would have been a late 86 release for an 87 video release.
Oh, it took
because it was the skull with the eyes.
See, I don't know what's stuck in my 85.
When that movie pops up and that woman goes, Dead by Dawn, man.
Yeah, Dead by Dawn.
When he cuts off his own hand. My friends Steve and Laura are big Bruce Campbell fans, so they subjected me to that movie over and over again. Because you know what? The video store was always checked out.
Yeah, it was.
We never had
done.
it in stock.
I can't remember that far. I was too little.
What?
Well, 80-something.
The 85 movie you're talking about?
No, going to the video store for it to be checked out.
That's my whole life.
I remember going in the 90s, though. They were barely
All right,
surviving.
we're wrapping it up. My wife's giving me the signal.
Okay.
I thought she was saying I was number one, but it was the middle finger.
The 1 minute.
It was the middle finger. All right. Well, thank you for all your support of the show. Plug away.
Huh?
Your plugs.
Oh, my plugs? Oh, well, hi. Well, I don't know.
Who are you? What's your Instagram? What's your YouTube channel? What's your
okay.
podcast?
I'm sorry.
What's your locker combination?
Sorry, I kind of froze there. Well, you can find me on YouTube at Horror Movies and Beyond. I have an Instagram that's under same name and Twitter. I have Facebook too that's under the same name. So you can find me there and see movie reviews and videos and interviews and blah, blah, blah.
All right. You've been on the show before. It's Mr. Kevin Horton, everybody.
Several times, and you haven't thrown me out yet.
No, I would never. Only throw Rachel out.
Oh, really? That's good.
Only throw Rachel out.
That makes me feel so much better.
Yeah. So, Kevin, what's your favorite movie of all time?
It's a tie between Labyrinth and Back to the Future.
Hey, those are good choices. Let's talk about Labyrinth.
Let's do that.
Did you see it in a theater?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, here's the thing. It didn't play very long in a theater. I had to see it at Alondra 6, the $1.50 show, right at the tail end of any theater that had it. And I remember reading in Starlog that it had a computer-generated opening credit sequence with the owl. So that's the main reason I went, also because George Lucas and Jim Henson. But Labyrinth is, and I talked briefly once about Labyrinth. No, we talked about Legend, a little bit of Labyrinth. I think Labyrinth's a masterpiece. And I know I've been throwing that word around a lot, but it is a singular masterpiece.
The thing I can remember back then, because back then I'm rather old now, so you'd actually had to rent videotapes.
Ooh, tell us more about this ancient form of entertainment.
Okay, it's about the same time they had these strange structures out near businesses called phone booths.
Phone booths, interesting.
Yeah, and Google it, everybody, because it used to exist. Yeah. So I would go to this particular video store, and I would constantly rent Labyrinth. So much to the point that the owners finally said, "Here,
Oh, did they really?
take it."
That's awesome. That's really
Because
cool.
we've counted, and you've rented it the most number of times this past year, so nobody else wants it. So here.
I remember seeing Labyrinth on the big screen, and you're struck by the visuals and Bowie's music, and I had a big crush on Jennifer Connelly.
I think everybody did.
Holy moly, right? I remember renting The Hot Spot a few years later because she's topless, and I was like, I shouldn't be watching this. But
But you couldn't take your eyes off the screen then,
absolutely. Labyrinth is singular because it's a big budget, not sword and sorcery, fantasy movie that's actually about a girl's point of view. And they don't make those. They're always the young boy is the chosen one. He can take the sword out of the stone. He can recite the magic, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Labyrinth, watching it as a kid is different than watching it as an adult. As an
Very much
adult,
so.
when you watch it, you realize, oh, this movie's about a young girl who is being seduced by puberty and being dragged into being an adult by, of all people, David friggin' Bowie. And you know that because his crotch is very prominent in the movie. In some shots, it's front and center. But he represents sexuality to a young girl who's still trying to play with toys. And at the end, he says, look, love me, do what I say, and I'll be your willing slave. And it's all it's the erraticness of what puberty does to you, the yes, no, love, hate, high, low, and it's all encapsulated in this gorgeous, way ahead of its time movie. Way ahead of its time.
And what about that crystal? When he moves that crystal around.
Oh, yeah. Well, have you ever seen how they did that, right? Where there's a guy that can actually do that, and he's underneath Bowie with his arm out, and it took hundreds of takes to get those. Because every time he drop it, they got to start over. Because he can't see his hands.
The genius of Jim Henson.
Oh, yeah. You get Henson and Lucas together, and originally it was going to be Mick Jagger. They wanted Mick Jagger to be Jareth, and I know they even briefly talked to Michael Jackson or Sting. They wanted Sting too, but you can't imagine anybody but David Bowie, because Bowie, even though he has that bulge, he's androgynous. He's wearing makeup, he has long hair, so it's that weird. Everybody remembers the first time you had a sexual thought, and you're like, well, wait a minute.
Where'd that come from?
What do you mean? What are you trying to tell me, talking to your body? Are you trying to tell me I don't need this? And then a week later, you're like, I don't need anything but this.
It just goes from nothing all of a sudden to...
Oh, yeah, no, listen. I can only speak for the heterosexual point of view. But I thought girls were icky and gross. And the thought of sidling up to one of them, absolutely not. Until I turned 13. And then suddenly I was like, wait a minute. Electro Woman and Dyna Girl mean something completely different now. And oh my God. It's
It made
weird.
the Crop Super Show really amazing.
Are you joking? Are you kidding me? But yeah, Labyrinth has all that wrapped up in this amazing story of friendship, loyalty, growing up, staying young, keeping young in you. Because at the end, the toys say, we're always going to be here for you. Even though we know you're growing up, we're always right here. I mean, that can you can break down in tears. And it's weird that you look at Neverending Story and Labyrinth.
Great movie, too, by the way.
Which one?
Neverending Story.
Neverending Story. And Legend and movies of that ilk that were misunderstood. They didn't do well. 20 plus years later, Harry Potter's the number one thing. And it's like, magic movies. Like, no, we've always had these.
Been done before.
We've all, I used to watch Dragon Slayer. I'm the only guy that ever watched Dragon Slayer more than once. You know the name of the dragon in Dragon Slayer? Vermithrax. Of course Zach knows. Only us nerds know that. And Peter, what's his name? Who played the lead character? He played Janusz in Ghostbusters 2. Yeah. Peter McNichol.
Thank you.
He's like the leading man. And not, 6 years later, he's like, everything you're doing is wrong.
Well,
Oh, hello, baby. And she's like, the baby's sleeping, Janusz. What were you saying, Zach? He just made it up. Up until if I remember correctly from the making of it that I watched, up until the moment the cameras rolled, they had no idea how he was going to play Janusz, and then suddenly he went, "Everything you're doing is wrong," and Ivan Reitman was like, "He's got it. He's nailed it." Because that movie, not to digress to the Ghostbusters 2, but they didn't have a complete script. The Ghostbusters 2, I mean, the movie's not that great. It's good, better than a lot of other movies, but it's a mess script-wise. They didn't the tunnel with all the heads and stuff was added later. We don't have huge patches of movies that have nothing in it, but Janusz is emerged, oh, Vigo, the guy, he's so great. But I just love, and I don't know what I said before these movies came out, because I can't remember life before Ghostbusters and these movies. But every time somebody goes, "How is this?" I go, "Everything you're doing is wrong." And it's only for me, because I don't care if anybody gets the reference. I get it. Rachel starts to go, "You're the only one who gets any of your stupid jokes." I go,
I think I'll use that in talking to somebody, something serious, and go, "Everything you're doing is wrong."
Oh, yeah, everything you're doing is wrong. It cuts right to the quick.
Everything you're doing is wrong.
And you also said Back to the Future. Now, I'm not familiar with this film.
Oh, really?
What is this movie? This is where Kathleen Turner has a chance to not marry Nicolas Cage, or no?
Close. Not really close.
Did you see Back to the Future on a big screen?
Yes, I did.
Good for you. Yes. An original.
Do I pass the test?
No. It's for your benefit. It's for your benefit. As you can tell, Kevin, I'm punch drunk from talking.
1.21 gigawatts.
1.21 gigawatts.
Great Scott.
The temporal experiment occurred exactly 1:18 a.m. in 0 seconds. Jesus Christ, Doc. He disintegrated Einstein. No, Marty, both him and the car are completely intact. Then where the hell are they? No, the appropriate question is, when the hell are they? You see, what place? Oh, we should probably go. But you messed it up. He goes, Einstein has just become the world's first time traveler. I sent him into the future, 1 minute into the future. Exactly. We'll catch up to him in the timing. Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
You're telling me you built
if you're going to build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style? Besides, the stainless steel construction made the flux dispersal. Look out. It just goes, man.
My favorite
line. I can do the
line.
whole movie.
My favorite line with Dr. Emmett Brown was, "Doctor, you're not supposed to read the note." And he goes, "I figure, what the hell?"
What about all that talk about screwing up the space-time continuum? Well, I figured, what the hell? My favorite Doc moment, I don't think I've even talked about this. My favorite Doc moment in all three movies is when he goes, "Old man Peabody owned all of this. He had some crazy idea about breeding pine trees." And then he turns and his eyes get giant and he walks off screen. That's my favorite moment.
I love it.
Oh my God, every time I see it. That's great, Doc. I mean, does it run on regular gas? No, unfortunately, it requires something a little more kick. Plutonium. Doc, you can't just walk. No, this sucker's nuclear. What do you think it's nuclear? No, this sucker's electrical. But I need a nuclear reaction to generate the 1.21 gigawatts of energy they need. Doc, you can't just walk into a store and buy plutonium.
You can't do it, Doc.
Of course not. Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Kevin Horton, everybody. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a first.
Yay!
We have one of my oldest and dearest friends in the entire world on the show for the first time ever. Took 5 years, 400 episodes, but I finally got her. I booked her. Ladies and gentlemen, Laura Mon Knockers Peral.
Yes, that's me.
Your maiden name is Mon.
Yep.
Knockers came from what?
Charlie's aunt.
Because you did?
I was in the back.
And you did the knocking.
Yeah, I was the knocking on the door.
Knockers.
That too.
We don't talk about that in high school.
Yeah, I got the name Knockers.
Laura, oh my God.
Jeffrey.
Tell us something that no one's ever known about you or me.
Oh, gosh.
Us. We've known each other forever.
Forever. Can you believe you're 48? Not yet. You still have a couple days.
Doesn't
resonate,
we
does
have
it?
these parties, but I do it more so that I can just see people.
Everybody?
I don't, the celebrating the birthday thing is so blasé. And I don't mean to belittle it.
Yeah, that's why I don't have parties
But I
anymore.
just like to hang out and have fun with people. And if you go, hey, let's all go to a restaurant, people go, I'm really busy, man.
Yeah.
But if you go, will you come for my birthday? Then they have to come, right?
Yes.
They're all guilted into coming. And then you get to hang out with the people you like to hang out with.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
You ever seen that German commercial about staying in touch? It's my favorite commercial ever, where the old man is talking to his son to come home for Christmas, and they're all too busy. So the next year they all get a letter that he's dead.
Oh my gosh, no, I
And
don't
you see
remember
each
this.
of the kids devastated. They all fly to Germany from all corners of the globe, and they're all in black, and they're commiserating. And when they walk in, the table's set, the candles are lit.
Okay,
and
I do not remember
Dad
this.
walks out.
Wow.
And he's like, this is the only way I can get you together.
That's sad.
And the look is so genuine on these actors' faces, and they go, I have to spend time with my dad. Of course I do.
Wow.
And
now you've got to go call my parents on the drive home. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Is that the message of this show?
Yes. Yes,
You have
it
all
is.
the time in the world until you don't.
Until you don't. Absolutely. 100%.
I've known your parents forever.
Yeah, you're their other child.
What are we missing?
This homeless guy's out there, right? And he looked really hungry and sad.
Yeah.
So I'm like, go give him the donuts, Joey. But then we forgot. We sent out the guy in a skeleton.
Oh, my God.
No, you did not.
You sent the skeleton.
Did
The
he
guy's
go
like,
running?
the guy looked up and
he
said.
still took the donuts,
he said,
though. He
death,
ran.
Death has come for me.
In the form of donuts.
I knew this would come. I knew this day would come. Was it like the Grail night when he goes, I knew you'd come?
In the form of yum yum donuts.
There he
Oh
is.
my gosh.
I was the oldest of three brothers. See, I just keep doing movie references. I don't care. All right, well, Joey's outside. He's giving
Oh
donuts.
my gosh, that is
Oh
so
my
funny.
God. Look at this.
Is he taking them?
I'd say it was a Kodak moment, but
I can't
don't think
see.
people know what Kodak is anymore. All right, no, the guy won't take the donuts.
He won't take them.
No, no,
Okay, that's so sad.
no, no. It's very sad. The guy with the cane is literally running away from Joey.
Wow. That's a moment.
All right, Laura.
Yes,
When did
Jeffrey.
we meet? When did we meet?
It was in Mr. Nectarline's class.
Mr. Nectarline.
Yes,
Keep
who just
on
passed away.
pushing my love over the nectar line.
He just passed away.
He just passed away.
That's very
yeah.
sad. I liked
Yeah.
him. And I was so impressed with you because you had a Howie Mandel handbag.
Yeah, it's a real chick magnet.
And nobody knew what that was
Nope.
but me.
Yep.
And I was in awe of your handbag.
I made it
loved
myself.
I know you did.
Yeah.
You told me that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Absolutely ridiculous.
you were friends with my love.
Who's your
Steven.
love? Your
Steven,
husband?
my husband.
How long have you been married?
Over 30 years.
Over 30 freaking years,
Yeah,
folks.
we got married in 88.
I've seen you through plays at high school. Your move to Catalina Island. You lived on Catalina Island.
I did live on Catalina Island twice.
You were the only senior in a high school in Catalina Island?
Actually, a junior. No, if I had stayed and graduated with them, it would have been. I would have been the 12th senior.
The 12th senior.
Yes, there would have been. I would have been in a class of 12.
Then you came back to Norwalk, graduated
for my
with us,
senior year,
and
which I was so happy.
we've been friends ever since.
Absolutely. Yep.
You were there when all my children were born.
Yes.
You were there when only 2 of them were conceived, which I think is a good track
A little
record.
odd, but
A little odd.
hey,
it's okay.
We're friends.
Josie doesn't know.
We're friends. You know, keep it close. I was there when you met your wife.
Yeah, you were actually there the day
Yes.
I met Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You actually pushed it.
I pushed it
because
hard.
I wasn't going to
I
look
pushed
at her
it
because she
hard.
was married.
I know. I'm a horrible influence. I stole her from her husband for you.
Everybody makes their own choices.
That's true. And I think she made the definite
Yeah, I think
best
so.
choice.
Yeah. What are you going to do, right? What are you going to do?
I used to tell her, I just wish you weren't married. Why do you have to be married? You're so perfect for Jeff.
On YouTube, you can see the full video of the 16th birthday we shared together.
Oh, that's awesome.
1987. We shared our birthday party.
We sure
with
did.
a lot of the
At
same
my
people.
house. Yeah.
How crazy is that?
That is unbelievable. And we'll be seeing a lot of those people next
Next
weekend
week.
at our 30-year
30th high school reunion. I am biting the bullet, and I am going.
Finally, I've been to 3 of the 4 reunions.
My only regret, and I told Felipe, we talked about the same thing, was it's only our class. I would like it better if it was a bigger spectrum. They
No.
had one of those.
They're having it again. It's
Oh.
open to whatever
When
class
is- when
wants
is
to
that
come.
one?
This one, ours.
Oh, they're letting anybody
Yes,
go?
they're letting anybody
oh,
go.
because I'd love to see younger people, older people.
Yes, it's from what I've been told, from what Alex
Although
put.
I told Rachel she's fine because, first off, I didn't date anybody in high school.
Right.
Secondly, there's no one going to be there that I dated because it
Yeah.
didn't happen. The few that there's a difference between dating someone and I went to a dance with someone.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a difference,
Hey,
right?
you just went as friends.
Yeah. Well, of course I did. It's me.
Jeffrey.
But there won't be anybody like that there because they're
Right.
either younger or older.
Right.
Probably not older. No one would have gone on a date of any kind with me. I was telling somebody I took Anna to Winter Formal and we had dinner at the Velvet Turtle.
Oh, that's so funny.
Remember the Velvet
that
Turtle?
Totally dates you, yes.
The Velvet freaking Turtle.
That's funny.
That's like saying you took somebody to Love's.
Loves.
Now, I've always
In
wanted to
Lakewood.
have you on the show to do a whole hour on 80s commercials.
Oh, okay.
Because you remember them all.
I don't know about now. 48 is hitting me
is
hard.
it finally? We've found the are we
I
done?
think so.
Zach? What commercials do you remember from the 80s? We'll do a little tiny one.
I remember the Sylvanian family.
Sylvanian families.
Oh, I love those.
To collect them all. or
Yes,
something
I
like
loved that.
Yeah.
Let's see. What
I was
else?
telling somebody that we cling to the movies and TV shows that we liked,
Mhm.
but for most regular people, I'm not regular, you would see the movie once or twice, the TV show once, maybe if it made it to syndication, like
Right.
Three's Company or something, you'd watch a lot. Like, I watched a lot of Three's Company and Too Close for Comfort and the Jeffersons and the Brady Bunch, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But what you saw the most of in the 80s was commercials.
That's
Because we
true.
didn't skip through them.
Right,
We-
you
we-
couldn't.
We watched them
Yeah,
a lot.
you had to.
And when I go on YouTube and watch these blocks of 80s commercials, I am shocked at how many I know
That you still remember?
verbatim.
Wow.
Because the messages all worked. You know?
Yeah,
Sometimes
it's true.
Rachel can't remember what happened yesterday, but if I go up to her and I go, when you're in love.
The whole world's delicious.
Right. I don't want to grow up.
I'm a Toys R Us kid.
They got a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with. From bikes to trains to video games, it's the biggest toy store there is.
Gee whiz!
I don't want to grow up.
'Cause baby, if I did.
I couldn't be a Toys R Us kid. I mean, that's...
No, more games, more
toys.
toys.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
I gotta be a Toys R Us kid.
Jeez, man.
Yeah,
It's
true.
infects your mind.
It does.
And
It stays with you.
It colors how you look at things. You look at things through commercials. Like, we couldn't go to Taco Bell without my mother going, Taco Bell. And that commercial's on YouTube, and I'm like, oh,
Is
my
it really?
God. Yeah,
I need to go check these out.
Taco Bell.
Oh, that's funny.
Ridiculous. We watched a special the other day about soda. I'm like, at George's Market there, which became Herman's Hallmark,
Yeah.
I took the Pepsi challenge.
Oh, how funny. I
right
remember
next
the
to
Pepsi
Bud's
challenge.
Tacos,
Yeah.
Circus Pizza.
Circus Pizza. Oh, I used to play that circus game. Carnival.
Carnival, yeah.
Yes.
Sping, sping,
Yep.
sping.
Where you'd shoot the bear back
Yeah.
and forth. Do 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 do.
And there was a McDonald's and then a Del Taco. And for some reason, the Del Taco put their sign on backwards and left it for 5 years.
It was
So
a
I used to
mess.
say, are we going to Lead O Cat? I only know that because it was backwards forever.
And that was on your side of the street.
Yeah.
See, I was on the other side of the street, so it was normal for me.
Yeah, isn't that bizarre?
Mhm.
And then behind Del Taco, there was an ice machine.
Yes.
And I was convinced there was somebody in there all
living in
day
it.
making
Thank you.
ice.
So did I. I used to think that there was somebody living in there.
They don't have ice machines anymore, right? Like this was a machine that you walked up to. You put 6 quarters in, no dollars, 6 quarters, chunk, and then a block
of ice
would come out.
It wasn't cubed ice. It wasn't
a block of ice.
Yeah, it was
and I
total
just
block.
thought, well, there's a guy in there who waits, and you put the money, and he puts the ice out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Laura, we got to wrap it up.
That's too bad. I will come back.
Google Fuddruckers because I wanted to see the hours. It comes up in bright red, closed.
Oh, we got to go.
And they're shutting off
lights.
now.
Okay.
We got to tell them thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you to Laura.
Thank
you
you.
to Steve, my oldest friends in the world. Thank you to Zach for all your help.
we love
Kendall,
you.
we didn't get to you.
Oh, sorry, Hendel.
We'll phone it in.
We
'cause
love
they're
you,
throwing us
Jeffrey.
out.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Thank you. And happy
Thank
birthday
you.
to you. You just had a birthday.
Thank you very
And I'll
much.
see you next week for
Sounds
another
great.
round of this.
Excellent.
At the 30-year reunion.
And I will come to the house, and we will
All right.
do a full episode.
Kendall, come over here.
Okay. Quick, Kendall.
Hey, this is Hendel.
It's
and
Hendel.
Thanks for all your support on the show and everything that you've done for the show over the years. Hendel's the guy that if somebody asks me to review a movie and I can't find it, he can find it within 5 minutes. Even if it's obscure like Swap Meet.
Is that a request for next week? I don't think I've gotten that one
No,
yet.
I watched it on your channel.
Oh, you already got that.
Swap
Okay.
Meet. It was horrible. I didn't realize that the Swap
Most
Meet.
of the ones you request are.
I didn't realize they all got topless at the Swap Meet.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
That's okay. I'm going to phone in at the end.
Yeah.
This is it.
All right, so thanks for tuning in. It's been 5 amazing years.
Congratulations
400,
and happy birthday.
Thank you. 400 episodes of friendship, memories, new friends, old friends on the ridiculous show we like to call
91 Reasons.
Thanks for listening by Graham Thar's Hammer. We'll be back with another episode. Live long and prosper. May the force be with you. So say we all. Hey, hey, hey.